students, this is a audio recording for the 1.2 project math element where we are going to be reviewing facility costs. If you notice at the bottom of the spreadsheet that I have for you to use along with the audio recording, there are 3 tabs. We have facility costs on the first tab, transportation costs on the second tab, and the third tab is labor cost. So we will be starting with facility cost and moving through this audio tutorial one page at a time. For our facility cost sheet, we are going to actually begin calculating with the annual rent in column C. We're going to start in the cell C5, and we are going to use the formula below. Notice the formula at the bottom of the spreadsheet. We're going to start with A for annual equals S, which is for our cost per square foot, our facility size, probably square feet. I think it's backwards compared to the spreadsheet up here, times R, which is our rent. So we have the size of our facility times the rent amount. We are going to move on after that formula, and we are going to use the monthly formula to calculate the cost per month. So in cell C5, we're going to put an equal sign. We are going to select A5. You're going to use shift and the number 8 to get an asterisk for multiply. So we're going to multiply these together. And we're going to multiply times B5. So we have our formula there. It gives us a total up at the top. And we can press enter. The cost per year for this facility, which is $5.50 a square foot, 10,000 square feet is $55,000. I'm going to show you a little trick here. If you can go to the corner and move from the cursor to a plus sign, see how that happens when you click on the little corner there? We're going to drag this formula down. And there we go. And it's going to autofill. You can check on your formula to see that it's correct by looking up here in the function line. We have A6 times B6 for C6. Or you can double click on the formula within C6, click on the cell. It will show the formula and it will show you exactly what's being included in that calculation. So if you want to check and see how that works, you can see the pattern changing for each one. Now we're going to calculate the monthly rent. We're going to start in D5. And there's 2 ways you can calculate the monthly rent. We could, shortcut way, we could take the annual rent, and we know how many months there are within a year, right? There are 12. You're going to use next to the shift / forward, and that will be representing C5 divided by 12. And there will be our total. You could actually take that formula, drag it down, but I do want to share with you another way we could calculate the monthly rent. We could actually do the same process from the very beginning, how we calculated the annual rent. This time we're going to use parentheses, equals, and in parentheses we're going to put the cost per square foot times the facility size. And so you could actually calculate the annual rent again and divide that total by 12. So whichever formula you prefer you can use, and then when you get your total, take that formula, go ahead and drag it on down, and you have an example for facility cost. You will be creating a spreadsheet based on your own research where you're going to take the rent and the facility size you found in the locations that you've been researching, and you're going to recreate a spreadsheet just like this. So now we're going to move on. And at the bottom of your spreadsheet, we're going to click on the purple tab, Transportation Costs. I had to pause that for a minute because I accidentally deleted out the wrong column. On your spreadsheet, you're going to see distance in miles, and that was deleted. So I had to go ahead and re-enter that. And so first we're going to calculate the trucking cost. Our formula down here for trucking is 225 cents a mile. Let's get that out of there. It should be 225 M. And over here, we're going to put equals. So we want our $2.25 times, which is your shift 8, 100 miles. $225. And you can drag the formula down to autofill. Intermodal rail cost actually is $1.35 per mile. Plus, there's a standard cost. Your drayage is $400. So this looks a lot like your slope intercept form, I bet. Actually, it is your slope intercept form. I don't know why I said it. It looks like it. And we're going to take our $1.35 and shift 8. We're going to multiply that times the number of miles. And then at the end of each formula, we're going to have plus $400. So $1.35 a mile plus a standard $400. And we're going to drag that down to autofill. And your intermodal cost for the distance, you can see how it changes. So based on your location, your facility, and how far it is from the railroad, you can actually calculate the number of miles for your trucking cost and your railroad cost. And our third spreadsheet is labor. So we have the number of hours worked per week, 40, 35, 40, and 30, and we have our the rate of pay for these employees. So this employee here is working 40 hours a week, and he's getting paid $20 per hour. So first we're going to calculate the weekly cost, and then second the annual cost. But for each of these employees, there's a $25 fringe benefit rate. And I actually have not set this up to round to the nearest dollar, so we're going to take that off here. 25. Your fringe benefit is going to be your unemployment rate and your health care benefits and anything else that you're paying for your employee as a company. So we're going to start with weekly. We have 125%. So we want the weekly hours worked times the rate of pay, and that total will be 100%, but we want 25% more. So instead of just H times P, we want that, which was 1 plus 25% more. So we'll put equals in. And so we're going to put in our formula, 125% times the hours worked times our rate of pay. So in actuality, this person for 40 hours a week is getting paid $800. We know 4 times 2 is 8 and so on. And 25% of 800 is $200. So altogether, we are paying $1,000 for this employee that is working at a rate of pay of $20 an hour and 40 hours a week. So we're going to take our formula, autofill again, and you can see the examples for different hours worked and different rates of pay. And then we're going to go over to our annual cost. 2 different formulas we can use here. The shortcut here would be, since we have 52 weeks within a year, we could go ahead and take 52 equals 52, shift 8 times the weekly cost. So 52 weeks of working $20 an hour at 40 hours a week, plus the fringe benefits already included. 52 weeks times $1,000, $52,000. That would be our cost of this employee. You could take the formula and again autofill by dragging it down, but I am going to show you another method. We could also take 52 weeks times, we have $125% of the total rate this employee is getting paid. Would have been nice if I started off with the equals. 52 weeks times $125%. Oh, doing it again. Times our 35 hours times our rate of pay of $15 an hour. So altogether, if you're trying to go back and input, I did enter equals the 52 weeks, 125% times the hours worked, and rate of pay. Enter. And you can take either formula you want and autofill. And based on your research for your city, as far as your warehouse workers, your supervisors, or your warehouse managers, you can input whether you want to hire full-time or part-time staff, you can actually create the weekly and annual cost of your labor force for each, actually, since you're researching 2 cities, each city at each warehouse in your distribution network.